everybody. Hello, welcome. This is it. The day we've all been waiting for. We got Gareth lurking here with me in the background.
Hello, is this thing on?
It is. We can hear you now. So, for those of you who are joining, we are about to announce the finalists and the winner for the Destination Unknown Writing Challenge that we just wrapped up from March. Now, if you're here because you wanted to be in on the character building challenge kickoff, don't worry. We are doing that after we announce the winners from Destination Unknown. So here is the character building challenge, which is another free challenge, but it's focused more on building out a well-rounded character. So here is the link to that challenge, and then here is the link to that YouTube that will be kicking off shortly after this one ends. But for today, we need to celebrate the accomplishments of the many people who submitted. We had a long list of 139 people. So thank you for making this very, very difficult for us. And then of that long list, we narrowed it down to a short list of about 19 people. And then from that short list, we picked 4 prize winners. And so we are going to announce who the prize winners are and then tell you what order they placed. But we are so proud of you. I don't know, Gareth, if you want to speak to anything you saw in the stories, but there was so much creativity and wit and unique author voices in these stories. It was amazing.
It was, and I think a lot of the stuff across the board, I just want to thank everybody for, taking part, now that we're here kind of right at the end. Thank you all. I can see so many in the chat here already sort of talking about their stories and what they did. Regardless, that's one thing I want to stress, and I will always stress with a challenge like this, is regardless of kind of prize winning or being, in the top 3 or whatever, give yourself a big pat on the back for getting something done. I'll speak a little more towards that when we get to the end as well, in terms of kind of going forward with your stories. But yeah, from what I saw for now, just so many great approaches to it. I think that there was a lot of obviously like jumping right in with the tech ideas, with like starting with Wi-Fi, but then plenty of others that kind of just looked out to new horizons and quickly shifted it in all sorts of directions. So it was a lot of fun and tough to judge.
Yeah, we were down to the wire deciding which of these 4 we're going to take first. So you made it very, very difficult for us. And we don't want anybody to leave discouraged if your story was not in the top 4 or if yours wasn't the number 1. That does not necessarily mean it wasn't a good story. We just had so many good ones to pick between that it's difficult when you have this kind of thing, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, I should stress that as well in terms of both this challenge, I guess any challenge that we take submissions for, but especially, and I don't know, jumping the gun maybe here a little, but everybody who's been around AutoCrit for years knows that we're going to have the summer short story writing challenge coming. We do that every year now. I think it's like 6 years this year. And that one especially as well, we treat very professionally. And when we come to the choices for the grand prize at the end of that one, we treat it just like a professional submission. And that is one thing to keep in mind, that when you are out there in the real world, especially if you're kind of new to this or you're just kind of getting your wheels turning with writing and popping your first bunch of short stories out there, rejection doesn't mean the story's terrible. And it doesn't mean that you're a terrible writer. Not necessarily. It can be a bad story, but most of the time it's not. It's just like not a fit right now. And most editors will tell you that. It's like, this is really good. Enjoyed it a lot, but it's just not what we're looking for right now. And while it sucks to hear that, you should take it as a little bit of a fuel to send it elsewhere. Just move forward with it. Try again. It takes a good few shots usually to land a story. So never put yourself down for that.
No. So with that, we are going to open this up by welcoming you guys to shout out if you submitted a story, because I'm going to pull some of you who shared that you submitted up on the screen. We're going to celebrate with you. Like I see Michael's kicking us off and Chris. We've got Elaine, Marina, Tammy, a story that will never get published. Yeah, never say never. And it wasn't at the last minute. That's a win. We've got people from all over who are in. This is so exciting, you guys. Your first short story. You've got it up on your blog.
Oh, lovely.
Submitted your story. So, yeah, we have people from all over. Looking forward to next steps. Absolutely, Scott. And I think we're going to end this call with that after we announce the winners, too. Where do you go from here? Oh, it hit some major divots. Destination unknown got you.
So they gotcha.
Yes, can't wait to see who all wins. So, if you are joining now, Destination Unknown was a challenge where we wanted to push your writing flexibility so that you could improve in that. We gave you guys a first line and a last line that had to be used verbatim. We also gave you guys a twist in that one major character could not speak or make sounds with their mouth aloud at any point in the story, and that you could not have conjunctions at the beginning of your sentences, which we call sentence starters. So we loved how you all rose to that challenge. I'm going to go ahead and pull up on the screen here the 4 final short list. I should have put commas there. Sorry, everybody. We have The Birth of Alfie by J.S., The Deeply Deep 2, The Rebrand by Kimberly S., Entanglement Protocol by J.L., and Time for a Road Trip by Craig C. We'll split all of these up one line each for the winner placement announcements here. But if you're on and you would like to shout out that it was you, like I see Craig's on here.
See Craig right there. Well done, Craig.
Yes, absolutely made the shortlist. We got Kimberly S on. So congratulations to making it to that 4. And as we said earlier, one of the things that made this so tough to pick was how immersive and just witty and original your choices were. We know that some people like to take their Destination Unknown stories from the challenge and pursue publication with them. So we're not going to get into the nitty-gritty details of their content. But if you are an AutoCrit Pro member and you participated, whether or not you're in these 4 and would like to share your stories for others in the community to read, there will be a thread going up today in our Pro member community forums where you can post your story from the challenge. Gareth, you have any other thoughts for the 4 finalists while I get ready to queue them up?
I'm just looking forward to announcing them in order. Work away there. But I do recommend, certainly if you've just taken part and you have access to the member forums, feel free to go in there and share your stories. Get some feedback from the community around you as well, because it's always very helpful, and it's why the community is there at AutoCrit as well, to help one another, to get feedback, to get perspectives. And that's the point too, is feedback oftentimes is a perspective. Sometimes that's not wrong or right. It's your creative decision. Somebody may say, I would think I would prefer the story if it went in this direction, or what if you tried this? And if you think, no, I prefer it the way it is, it's your story. So not all feedback is necessarily criticism that needs to be enacted, but certainly recommend sharing your stories in the forums and having some fun with one another.
Yep, absolutely. So we're going to kick us off with 4th place. So our 4th placed, we're going to give all 4 of these people prizes. What you get is going to depend on what you place. So 4th place winner, Gareth, what do they get? I feel like I should have drum roll.
Check here. Yes, I'll just make sure I've got my list. 4th place, I believe, is going to get a copy of our Deep POV workshop. So you can self-study that. This will be a recording one that after the workshop is added to your account, you'll be able to jump right in and just catch up with it all. So everything you need is in there in the recordings, including the exercises and everything. We thought the deep POV workshop was a great prize because it's such an important part of creative writing as well, and storytelling in general, of getting the reader immersed in character, in what we would call the POV, of that character, to be that person. It's an incredible skill to develop, an essential one now. So we thought that was a great thing. If whoever wins this one, if we bolt on a workshop and you happen to have been around AutoCrit for a while and already own one, just let us know and we can find a different workshop that you haven't taken or something like that, and substitute it for you. But Deep POV workshop will run on that basis for now, and that's free for number 4.
Yep. And our Deep POV workshop, this one that you're winning is a self-led one. We do have a live one coming up in April for people who are interested. So I'll pop that up on the screen. And I'm queuing up number 4 here. Oh my goodness. Number 4 is The Entanglement Protocol by JL. Congratulations. We are super excited for you.
Did we see if JL was here? I don't know if we missed
No, JL, are
shout
you
out.
on? Because we'd love to shout you out. Of course, if you want people to know that you are JL too. We know that there's
That's a point.
there are people who use initials because they're like, I'm just going to slide this in. Yeah, congratulations. Congratulations all around. All right. 3rd place. So 3rd place is winning that Deep POV self-led workshop as well, but also a story doctor session, I believe. So that is our 30-minute one-to-one session with one of our editors or instructors to walk through a specific aspect of your story or marketing or any other writing related tip that you would like help with for that 30-minute stretch of time. So 3rd place, we have, well, I'm going to try to pull it up. The Birth of Alfie by JS.
The Birth of Alfie. Did we have JS with us as well? I'm always doing this I say this every time I hold a class or a contest of any sort. It's like a seance. It's like, are you with us? Give us a sign. If you are not, congratulations.
Congratulations to JL and JS so far. I'm going to grab 2nd place. We got a little bit of a different prize for our 2nd place winner today, Gareth. We've got that story doctor we just talked about, and we've got that Deep POV workshop, but then we also have something extra for them.
We do. We're going to give as far as I'm aware, the 2nd prize winner a 1-year stretch of AutoCrit Pro membership. So we're going to upgrade you for the year, and hopefully that everything you get in there in terms of all the tools, access to the forums, of course, access to the team a lot more every single day, for 1 year should bring your writing forward leaps and bounds, fingers crossed. So yeah, that's on the cards for you.
Yep. And so for those who are new to AutoCrit and you haven't heard of this before, here is our annual plan. The annual plan is nice because it saves you money on the cost of the monthly, but it gives you access to the pro member community forums we talked about earlier where you can post your stories. It gives you access to live instructor-led events that are specifically for pro members. Like we have a horror club coming up tomorrow. Now that we've got Gareth on the call, I can be like, come join the horror club. For today, but we got horror club tomorrow. We have nonfiction.
I'll hint it may be on the cards in the future, but not right now. But
yeah, not right now for Gareth, but we have horror regardless. The scares will continue to go on, and then we have also our full suite of planning, writing, editing, formatting, and now marketing tools in the writer's desk. So all of that is included with AutoCrit Pro. So for our 2nd place winner, we have the Deeply Deep 2, the rebrand.
I feel like I need like a little drum roll and like audience cheer sound effect or something we should play on these. But up cheer there. Congratulations, Kimberly.
Yes. And I just now caught that there's so many 2s in there. 2nd place. That's awesome. Yes, we are so excited. Congratulations. You did a great job. All right. first time, our first place winner. And this winner, we are giving something different as well. So we still got the workshop, we still got the story doctor session, but we are giving them, and I'm going to drum roll and let Gareth reveal it.
I'm gonna let you drum roll like for an inordinate length of time. Now the extra prize on here, so we're gonna have obviously the workshop, the story doctor session, have the consultation. I think as well, Catherine, me and you are happy to provide some written editorial feedback on this story as well. So we'll kind of send over our thoughts to the winner with some pointers and thoughts about where to go next, and also a lifetime AutoCrit Pro membership. So you're not leaving. You're with us forever. And I believe that winner is.
And queuing it up here. Craig. Congratulations.
And I know Craig was here. I wonder if he's just shocked.
And it's silent. We're just like, congratulations, Craig. No, this one made me just, there were moments of this one that just stunned me. And I'll put more in my feedback. And I know Gareth has some feedback for you as well. Yes, still shocked.
Wonderful. Yeah, and I will say it's a very, very tough decision, as we said earlier, an extremely tough decision to bring. It always is with judging any stories, to bring it down to this final selection, and even to put them in order was very, very difficult. And for multiple reasons, I don't want to call out too much in terms of feedback, but certainly the top two, I think I would keep calling it. I want to call it the dark and darkest because that's in my head all the time, something like that. But the deeply deep, very, very funny, immediately entertaining, hilarious from the off, and kind of keeps you wrapped up in it. And Craig's winner there had I think a great approach to the silent character, and just a lot of gravitas and a lot of action. Great narrative, and obviously, Craig, we will get further feedback to you on that front. But to open that all up to everybody else as well, I'll kind of spin back to what I mentioned at the beginning of today's session. Where do you go now, like going forward with these stories? And there were certainly so many of them that we saw submitted, and I'm sure so many more out there that weren't submitted that you were just having fun with yourself, because we have already heard from people who said, I started with this story, but it ran away from me, or, it's just gotten bigger and bigger and bigger in my head, and it's now a series, or it's my first novel idea, or it's becoming a novella, and I need to wrangle it. Continue doing that. Keep doing that. That is awesome. And the same thing with your stories. If you finished a short for this, now's the time after we're done. Go back to that story, look at the beginning, look at the end, the things that we made you do as part of this challenge. And if you want to change them, change them. Find a way to get to the heart of what it was that you wrote and make that story yours. Free it from the constraints. Find that heart and soul that's at the center of it. Blow those chains off and let yourself make it what it needs to be or wants to be. Don't just put it away and forget about it. And I would say that especially if it's your first short story that you sat down to write, because you'll be a little fired up at this point, I reckon, and you want to let it break loose. So continue with it. And then when you have it and you're happy, feel free to share it around, or certainly go sell it, submit it to some anthologies, submit it to magazines, submit it to regional publications around you, whoever takes writing and pays for it, try to sell it. And I think you'll be very surprised with the results.
Yeah. I completely agree. Someone mentioned, it would be nice to see the excerpts. Of course, we would love for these authors to share some excerpts in the forums. As you know, if you've stuck around AutoCrit for a while, we do usually show some of the short story submissions for most of the challenges, but Destination Unknown is unique because so many people have told us they want to go on to pitch their work because there's not a maximum word count. So some of these stories get turned into full-blown novels, novellas, and series, and sometimes having that content published live on something like this can make it harder to get signed by an agent or a press. So we want to be respectful of everybody's privacy for a challenge like this one specifically, where it's not just going to be the one shot at the short story per se. So if
Yeah,
you are
it's
looking for,
important just to say that we never want to step on anybody's toes, and it can be a bit of a line, well, not a line dance in the kind of cowboy sense, a dance along a line, walking a tightrope, I guess is a better way to put it, of kind of sharing too much, which can put publishers off, because a lot of publishers out there as well will consider, if you've even shared a complete short story on social media, or enough people have seen it in public on an audience, they will consider that published and say, well, we can't publish it then because it's not a first publication. As right or wrong or that may be from your perspective, but we try to just stay safe on that tightrope, and not push anybody off it when they could be out there selling a great short story.
yeah, yeah, for sure. Now, as you know, this was a 100% blind challenge. So we cannot tell you, unless you are in the final four that we requested the identity of for the sake of today's YouTube, we cannot tell you if you were in that 19 list or the four list. Like Gareth had no idea who wrote these stories until after the judging was done, right?
Oh, no clue. I can see
So,
Tony mentioned there, but not the forum. Yeah, private spaces tend to be fine. That's why we have a private forum and it's members only. It's like, you want to share in there, that's fine. If you were submitting somewhere and it had been shared in a private forum, I wouldn't even say that it's been published anywhere, because it hasn't. You just wouldn't want a publisher who has purchased your story, 4 months down the line, coming across a YouTube video where it's being read out. They will not be very happy. But private forums, fine.
yeah, most of the time, completely fine there. All right, everybody. So, next steps, practically speaking, if you would like to continue to stretch your writing muscles, as I said earlier, we are about to jump over to this YouTube list. We are not publishing the 19 on the short list because, again, we only have the identities of those four that we requested today. So, if the other participants would like, there's a whole thread in the forums for who's participating in Destination Unknown. And then again, there will be the one where anybody can share their stories there, not just the four today. But if you'd like to hop over in just 5 minutes, Becca and I will be on to kick off this character building challenge. And basically, as a sneak peek, we want to help you guys completely flesh out a character from their backstory to their wants to their needs to their complete arc over the entire storyline for who they are. And we're going to do that with you guys for the rest of April. And just like Destination Unknown, it is 100% free. So you can find that on our website. Thank you so much for co-hosting this challenge with me, Gareth. It was so good to have you.
Very welcome. It's good to be here. Thank you to everybody for participating, as I, keep saying or have said throughout the whole thing. I hope it's been fun, and I hope it's been a challenge, legitimately. Had you think on your feet for a bit and really rack your brains. That's what it's all about, the developing that adaptability. And feel free, if you like, in your own time. I hope you join us for the next one. I'm sure we'll do it again. They'll enlist me to be the bad guy once more. But feel free to take the format if you like, and try it yourself. Come up with a few stipulations for a story and see what you can do within those confines, and just have fun. But like I said earlier, keep going. No matter where you are, whether this was your first ever short story, or you tend to write one a week or one a month, or however fast you do it, keep on going.
Yeah, don't stop. All right, everybody. Great work, and take care, and congratulations.
Bye bye.
Bye.